Our exclusive on-field pictures today here in Atlanta, supplied by BlackBerry Key One. Teams are in the tunnel and waiting to be greeted by, we expect, close to 45,000 fans today here in Atlanta. Zach Brown, tremendously famous musician and now hammer of the Golden Spike here in his native Georgia. One of the very cool new traditions, a nod to the railway history here in Georgia. Listen, if one of the issues historically in MLS has been teams playing in football stadiums, their cousins across the building, and it felt like it wasn't really their stadium. That's not the issue here, whether it's signage, whether it's the way they've set it up, or just the volume and the fan base that has been built. This feels like Atlanta United's home. They and FC Dallas walking out to a tremendous ovation right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps as the colors of the United States are presented today by the DeKalb Fire and Rescue Department Color Guard. Joining our anthem tonight, please welcome Chief Antonio Burden, who will stand beside our anthem singer in tribute to the men and women who serve our armed forces around the world. Please remain standing as we welcome the longest-running female anchor of a national morning news show, the host of Morning Express with Robin Meade on HLN. Please welcome Robin Meade, honoring the United States of America with the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of love and the home of love
Ladies and gentlemen, Robin Meade.
Now a nod to the show Atlanta on FX. Part of the great pop culture crossover between this team and their city. Oscar Pereja, as we mentioned, 7 games without a win for his team. First time in 3 years he's had a stretch like that. He said losing is a tough feeling. I'd like to say that I'm calm, I feel okay about it, but I would be lying to. But he said the players, they tend to share responsibility. As a coach, I take it all on myself. We're only 5 points, he said, away from everyone saying Dallas is back to being Dallas. And a good embrace between two very successful coaches, two fiery combatants on the sidelines as well. That might be some fun television to watch today, and Gerardo Martino said his team is in good spirits despite the recent lack of results. He said, we lost our rhythm, we lost a little bit of our intensity with these breaks that we've had, including last week, but it all now depends on us to get past the recent struggles, to kickstart a run towards the postseason, towards MLS Cup, on another big day for soccer in the South. Underway in front of a packed house and a building that I think we're going to be seeing a lot of in the years to come. Super Bowls, college football playoffs, MLS All-Star Game. I think it's a good bet that if the 2026 World Cup is in the U.S., there will be games here in Atlanta. It is Atlanta United in the 5 stripes of black and red. It is FC Dallas changing to their alternates evocative of a night sky deep in the heart of Texas. And as Atlanta United have not won a game in any of their last 4, in fact, including the breaks, they've not had a win in front of their home fans since the 4th of July. It's also the last time Josef Martinez scored a goal, and he's back from injury. Here's Miguel Almiron. Garza couldn't return it. Dallas, on the other hand, 7 games without victory. Longest stretch like that in 3 years. And their whole mentality right now, kickstart a run towards MLS Cup, trying to add the last trophy domestically they haven't yet won. After success at both the Supporters Shield and the Open Cup a year ago, Maxi Urruti drawing the game's first foul.
Yeah, Carmonas looks a little bit perplexed at this. He comes in from the side, and he does clip his foot. I think Geiger is right there to call it.
Urruti, 12 goals in 24 games, leading scorer for Dallas this year. And Carlos Carmona, the only change for Atlanta's lineup today. He was out with a yellow card suspension 2 weeks ago in Philadelphia. Mauro Diaz, the ensuing free kick met by Michael Parkhurst. And hit, almost fell kindly to Urruti there. As Michael Barrios just sort of hit it off the side of his foot. Misplay at the back by Carrezo, and Martinez is fouled, and Mark Geiger right on top of it.
Well, we saw moments earlier, Almiron's pace going forward quickly, and you see a poor touch, and Martinez is on it in a flash. You have these very quick players up front. Any sort of mistake, they'll expose it. There is poor touch. Martinez there to pounce.
As we said, 9 goals in 11 games for Josef Martinez. Has missed more than half the season so far. Has scored 8 times in his 8 prior starts. Misplay there by Parkhurst, and then contact with Acosta, not a foul in the eyes of Mark Geiger.
I think Oscar Pereira's down there saying it's very similar to what just happened moments earlier.
Almiron getting cut off by Barrios. Andrew Gonzalez-Perez coming across to win it back. An Atlanta team that doesn't just lead the league in possession, but no one's had a higher average possession per game, 58% and change, since Opta started tracking that regularly in 2010.
But if you see all the players that are looking to run forward, here's the right back, Walks. Martinez just tried it.
Villalba looking to return. Walks didn't have the speed on Hollingshead. And Matt Hedges, the reigning defender of the year in MLS, slides across. One of the effects of all this possession, you see the way Jeff Lorenowitz drops in. If you actually look at the Opta data average position of the players, it looks like they play some sort of a 3-5-2 look, that they have a 3-back with Lorenowitz because they spend so much time with him dropping deep with the ball.
And sometimes 5 and 6 across the front when they make those forward runs.
MLS on FS1 is sponsored by Audi. The Audi Player Index tracks every move, every match. To learn more, visit MLSsoccer.com/Audi. Here's Almiron trying to return for Martinez. Walker Zimmerman, Atlanta native, who was really buzzing yesterday when we talked to him about playing in this game. He was the one to intercept it. Good work by Garza to win it back. Assad, Martinez is inside of Hedges. Martinez gets there in front of Gonzalez. Penalty for Atlanta. Perfect start for them. What color is this going to be? Just a yellow for Jesse Gonzalez.
Well, John, we said start with a high tempo, and they have done just that. Garza presses high, wins the ball. A really good through ball, but there's a forward run again. And then Martinez has the guile to get up, look where the goalkeeper is, have a little touch around him. And Geiger again, absolutely correct to call a penalty.
Clemency for Jesse Gonzalez, part of that being the new rule change. As long as he makes a deliberate play for a ball, even if it's a denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, it can just be a yellow.
But the hands were up on the thigh, so you might want to, I'm not sure how much of the ball, but there was also a defender nearby.
Gonzalez has conceded twice on the 4 penalties he's taken. Part of this as well, you see the hand of the year is taking a look at it under video review. Our video assistant referee today, Robert Sabiga, familiar face as a referee, and they can change this decision. And they have, in fact, going to rule it the other way. And that's the point of video review, and a Dallas team which felt hard done by early in this winless stretch. Twice they had goals taken off the board, including a would-be winner against Colorado. Now video review has worked good for them.
But if they're playing with the ball out here, they're going to have to say it was offside.
Well, we did see Mark Geiger.
That is a penalty, but if they're playing the ball out here, it's for offside.
It was an offside decision then on the sequence that led to it. And confirmation from the video review booth, offside, no penalty, and no yellow card to Jesse Gonzalez. And the mood has turned sour pretty quickly here in Atlanta.
But still a really good start by Atlanta United. Look at them again, pressing. They're doing everything so quick.
Lorenowitz out-muscled by Gruezo. Mano Figueroa, part of the Honduras team that played against the U.S. and Brad Guzan earlier in the week. Barrios, great control to bring it down. Returning to the outside, Hernan Grana. Cut off by Assad. Throws the shoulder, keeps the ball in play. Garza comes to help. Atlanta throw. So this was what led to the penalty and the offside decision, which was spotted by the video assistant referee, Robert Sabiga.
If you're looking at the lines, it does look just off, and that's why we have video review now, John.
It has to be a clear and obvious error to the call on the field, and that's the whole point of why a lot of time, energy, and money has been put in to put that in place in MLS to get the match-critical decisions correct, and that's certainly a critical decision early in this game.
That was close.
And now it's just taken the air out of the building.
It did, but it also, the players can't really complain about it. It goes back to an offside. All the players have to keep their mouths shut and play on. Can you imagine if there wasn't video review and they called that offside? There'd be all these arguments of players around the referee.
Gruezo couldn't hold that up and commits the foul on Assad. Garza behind Assad. Barrios losing his footing on the turf, and then a foul. That'll be one of the interesting things. Brand new artificial surface, same exact surface we've been told is what we see at Providence Park in Portland. The interesting question that no one we talked to yesterday really had an answer for is, as the Falcons start playing as Atlanta United of all of these games, how will it be maintained? Because how you maintain a turf field is just as important as what type of surface you put down there. And as you mentioned, the speed Atlanta plays with on grass at Bobby Dodd Stadium, it's an open question whether that'll and how that will affect them going forward as Arrudi's offside.
Yeah, and this Atlanta team's going to want the quickest surface possible. They want the ball to travel quick. They want it so the players can close down quickly. They want it so they can play the balls over the top and their players can run onto it. And if this becomes one of those slower turf fields, dare I say like Seattle's, then that's not going to play into their advantage.
All right, well, in all this noise, Katie Witham down there in the midst of it. What are you hearing from the Dallas sideline?
John, everything I'm hearing from Oscar Pareja early in this one is he's calling out to his team to remind them positionally to push up higher on the field. He doesn't want them drop back. He also is telling them to put the pressure on, be right on every Atlanta man. He's called out to Walker Zimmerman and told him to look to switch the point of attack quickly over here towards this near side touchline.
And Tata Martino told us yesterday they have been preparing for a Dallas team to sit deep, to look to counter. Good work by Martinez to control that. Got tripped up, but Mark Geiger, as he kept possession, let him play on.
And with the run of form that Dallas is in, perhaps Oscar Pareja is going to try to have them push up just a little bit higher to try something different. But I think Martino is right in thinking that they would possibly sit back.
Villalba for walks, well read by Hedges.
I think that's naturally going to happen as the game goes on anyway.
Parkhurst now pressured as Carrizo was getting after him, forced him back to Guzan. Villalba brings it down. Gets it back from Walks. It's inside of Carrizo. He's got Martinez running in the middle. We're going to go all the way through. It'll find Assad. Almiron is there as well. Almiron blocked by Gonzalez. And Acosta on the scene to get it clear.
Good block, but again, 6 Atlanta players in the attacking third in a flash. Villalba and Walks did really well combining on the right-hand side.
Still a fairly new partnership. Walks in June. We talked about this last month. Surprisingly got the spot at right back. It had been Tyrone Mears all year, and Walks is not a natural center back. He didn't even know about it. It was one of his teammates who sort of elbowed him in the stomach and told him to look at the board, not at center back, but at right back. Player on loan this year from Tottenham Hotspur. Almiron from Assad. Garza overlapping the cross, straight in instead for Villalba. That was a foul by Lorenowitz, but a play on for Mark Geiger, and then Barrios just decked to the turf.
And here is Anton Walks and Villalba combining on that right-hand side. Just look at the run by Martinez through the middle of the field. That opens up the space. And another good forward run, that time by Almiron. Good save, Jesse Gonzalez.
MLS on FS1. It's sponsored by AT&T. About 2/3 of the possession in the early running to Atlanta, and that one video review decision, what looked like a Gonzalez yellow and a penalty for Atlanta, scratched off. Carmona clipping into space. Almiron in a foot race with Hedges. He gets there first, and that'll be the first corner of the game for Atlanta. They're going to take it quickly in for Carmona. Back for Almiron, in swinger from him, flicked along to the backside, and it's in! It's Leandro Gonzalez Perez. First goal in this stadium. First goal of the day for Atlanta.
Well, this is all Almiron. He's the one that made the forward run and won the corner. He's the one that got the ball to play the corner quick. And he's the one that served the ball in a really good ball, in swinging to that near post. It's flicked on. The FC Dallas players are sleeping. They're trying to get prepared for a different type of corner. And a poor clearance at that far post as well. Could have been dealt with. Big goal, 1-0.
Has started every game for them at center back. That's his first goal of the year. Leandro Gonzalez-Perez, targeted allocation money player. They've been with Estudiantes in Argentina. At one time was with River Plate in their youth academy.
Oh, he's just made some history.
On the assumption that Miguel Almiron gets the secondary assist for his ball in. That's his 10th of the year, joining Yamil Assad on double digits for this Atlanta team.
Well, the goal was all his. It was his initial forward run, quick again, and it was his quick thinking. All the FC Dallas players were sleeping, and he reacted first.
Zimmerman wins it back for Grana. Early in, Rudy bringing it down on Parkhurst, who gives him the space. Played inside for Hollingshead instead. His shot was blocked by Walks. Good pressure by Hollingshead to hold it in, but Walks able to clear. And Hedges had to come all the way across to clear that out in front of Villalba as it was staying in play. Seventh start of the year for Ryan Hollingshead over Roland Lamar, who had been starting a lot of this season. His first of them, though, in the midfield. Had been at left back in his prior opportunities this season. Gonzalez-Perez trying to start another sequence here for Assad. Now Garza. This has been not a slam dunk for Atlanta, scoring the first goal of the year. 7 times they failed to win when scoring the first goal, including 5 losses, the most in a couple of years by any team in the league. And Dallas actually leads the league, and a number of times they've come back from conceding first to get a result.
Once this ball is, it's flicked on at the near post. Look at the 2 Dallas defenders at the far post. I couldn't tell who it was. The one to the left, he had a clear chance to clear the ball with his right foot, just completely missed it. Could have been Grana.
Dallas setting up high, forcing Guzan to go long with the goal kick. And a reminder, this is just one of 2 games we have for you in FS1 today. Our friends Alexi Lawless, Mark Followell, and Danielle Slayton are in Seattle. The return of Ziggy Schmidt as they host the LA Galaxy. Barrios getting inside there of Gonzalez-Perez. No foul, no nothing either way. 9 Eastern tonight from CenturyLink Field. Seattle trying to retake first place in the West from Portland. Hedges trying to read the bounce to Villalba. Gonzalez got his body in the way. Almiron mishitting it. That's going to be an offside flag to end the play on Villalba. And Jesse Gonzalez, second time he's had to be really alert, getting off his line, making a play.
I know we've said it time and time again. Again, it was a forward run. Look how hard it is. It's so difficult to defend when you're facing your own goal, and then he gets his body in between the players. Gonzalez doesn't go to ground. It's a bouncing ball. He does the right thing and stays on his feet, makes himself big.
Acosta cut off by Assad and dumped on his backside. Gonzalez-Perez looking long, Hedges all over that. Zimmerman's header's too far for Grana. Garza for Martinez, got there in front of Zimmerman. The return now, Garza all the way across Villalba. It's a heavy touch. He's trying to get there, and Figueroa forcing a save from Gonzalez from a very narrow angle, and another Atlanta corner.
Well, FC Dallas need a response, and a response quickly. I know Anton Walks had a shot blocked, but right now Atlanta keeps knocking on the door. They're first to every ball. They're first to control it forward. They're first at the forward runs.
They took the corner short last time. That led to the goal. Gray area whether you count that as a set piece goal or not. They've only scored twice from set pieces coming into the day. Only DC and Chicago have fewer in the league. Almiron, great little move on Barrios. Couldn't combine with Carmona. Pressure from Assad, and Carmona's there just in front of Mauro Diaz.
As the seconds tick off, FC Dallas is sending fewer and fewer players forward. They're getting pinned back, but the players just aren't getting near the ball. More and more confidence oozes from this Atlanta team.
An Atlanta team that you could say on the one hand they haven't won any of their last 4. You can also say they've only lost 1 of their last 8, and ostensibly sitting 6th place in the Eastern Conference. Both these teams got help from results yesterday. Teams below them couldn't leapfrog, but they have so many fewer games played, between 2 and 4 games in hand before this weekend with anyone else in the Eastern Conference. But as we've seen, that's sometimes easier said than done, because what you're going to have happen here is you're going to play 7 of their last 10 on short rest every 3 days for the next couple of weeks, most of them at home, so less travel. We talked to Tata Martino about it yesterday. Are you going to have to rotate your team with the short turnarounds? He said, it's not my plan. My plan is, because of the importance of every single game, I'm going to play my best team. Offside flag is up on Almiron. And if I have to make changes as we go, I will. So the opportunity is there for Atlanta. If they can finish strong, it'd be the only other besides Seattle since 2005 to make the playoffs in their expansion year. Here's Hollingshead on the turn on Walks. Pulling back away from Carmona. Acosta wins it back for Diaz. Tackle off it by Lorenowitz. Almiron for Martinez, who checked back for it. Carmona. Almiron, it's going to fall kindly to Villalba. Going to weave its way through. Figueroa fell down, then allowed the ball to fall to Walks. It comes off of Almiron again. And the flag was up for offside on Almiron anyway.
But if they're going to be able to play like this against FC Dallas at home in this building, they're going to be able to play against most teams like this, and they should get a lot of points here.
MLS and FS1 sponsored by Advocare, the official sports nutrition partner of Major League Soccer. And there have been close calls. Portland in 2011 were tied for a playoff spot in September. 1 win in their last 6. Montreal in 2012 got to within a point of playoff spot in September. Finished poorly. Both New York City and Orlando were within striking distance in 2015. It was actually Montreal. 7 wins in those last 2 months. All their games in hand from a run to the CONCACAF Champions League Finals, and they let both of them into a playoff spot. Can Atlanta close the gap and make a little bit of history? Barrios for Urruti. Able to ride 2 challenges. The return from Acosta blocked by Lorenowitz. He's a little bit shaken up. Hands on knees behind the plate. Well, Seattle in 2009 started well, and we were above the playoff line in a much smaller MLS, it should be said, the entire season, as they also won the U.S. Open Cup. And then, of course, the bar is set by the Chicago Fire, 1998, winning MLS Cup in their first year in the league. And Diaz couldn't get it all the way out to Barrios. Garza outrunning his outlet ball to Assad, who plays inside for Almiron.
Look, the FC Dallas players can't even press anymore. They're standing 2, 3, 4 yards off every Atlanta player.
Carlos Carmona. Anton Walks. Cross to Garza. And now his cross. Walks looking to get on the end of it, as was Villalba. Didn't look like he made any contact on that at all. Maybe a little bit. It's a goal kick in the end.
It's becoming very easy in possession for Atlanta. FC Dallas didn't have a lot of confidence coming into the game, and this is the way Atlanta started this game. Just taking whatever little bit of confidence was there, gone.
Perez in a tough spot there as Barrios was closing. Good control from him. How can he play the outlet ball? The flag is staying down for Almiron. Martinez trying to hold himself onside. That flag's going to stay down and save off the line. Matt Hedges making the run back. Villalba coming the other way on Figueroa. Rolled inside for Almiron. Couldn't get through Acosta. What a big play by the reigning defender of the year in MLS to keep this a one-goal game.
Tremendous play to get in. It was Almiron's pace. He was onside, or he looked so from our angle right in front of us. He's so quick and found himself in about 15 yards of space. Maybe overhit the pass just a touch. A wonderful block by that man on the line.
Well, he was on the trips. He did not dress for either World Cup qualifier in the last week and change with the U.S. Got that opportunity, the Gold Cup. That is a key play. There's the dynamic of this game at 2-0. It's going to be awfully tough for Dallas at that point.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's impossible, of course. You never know, red cards, penalties, injuries. But right now with what we're seeing, a second goal, that would be a mountain to climb.
Gruezo cut off by Carmona. Assad for Almiron. Inside for Martinez. The return, Almiron got there in front of Gonzalez, who once more sticks out an arm or a leg or anything to make the play.
That's the fourth or fifth very good chance.
Gonzalez Perez's header coming backwards to defeat Barrios. Only Parker's between him and goal. He's waiting for support. Here's a Rudy now. A Rudy blasting it into the stands.
Just look at this run by Almiron. How quick it is. He's onside by 3 yards, easy. And he finds himself in space. Probably just overhits it a little bit there, but then the goalkeeper beats the goalkeeper. Hedges does the exact correct thing and runs right to the line. And again, there's that forward slashing run, takes out 3 defenders, just wasn't able to get enough on the ball. These angled forward runs are devastating, so hard to defend, and when you do it at the pace, plus you have players that can deliver the pass to them, tough to defend against.
So if you're Oscar Pareja, what are you doing right now? Because at a certain point, you're going to run out of your 9 lives. This thing's going to cave in.
Well, the first thing is, he's right. He's got to get the players to do just that, press the ball. You can always do that against anybody. And then
Rudy intercepted that.
And then the second thing is get some players forward. You got to get some more players forward. I mean, if you're going to sit back, you're going to be losing 2, 3, 4. So you're going to have to try, get to halftime, at worst case scenario 1-0, and then start sending some players forward.
Getting Mauro Diaz on the ball is a helpful part of that. Gruezo caught from behind. Almiron, and then he catches Almiron from behind. He's down in some pain right now. This is a concern for Atlanta. 9 straight games, the full 90 minutes for their $8 million purchase from Lanús in Argentina. Got his 10th assist on the opening goal, 8 goals this year. And only their 2 center backs have been on the field more for Tata Martino this season. Well, thumbs up from the athletic trainer.
And he's not the player they want out. They miss Martinez a lot when he was out injured. You can see why with the way he plays. But Almiron as well, he makes things tick.
Started both of Paraguay's qualifiers in this international window. They're 3 points back of Argentina. 2 teams behind them, including Chile, to try to get into a playoff and maybe get at the World Cup next year. That's what we said, that $14.5 million that Atlanta spent on transfer fees with their 3 big stars. Martinez, one of them, comfortable save for Gonzalez. And they've gotten great production out of all 3.
Martinez used his body so well against Hedges. Hedges, the far bigger man, but couldn't win the header clean because of Martinez.
Half an hour in, 14th minute goal off a short corner from Leandro Gonzalez-Perez. Chances before then, it was what we thought was a penalty for Atlanta, chalked off by video review correctly for an offside decision. And then Matt Hedges a save off the line. Jesse Gonzalez a couple of key blocks to keep this a 1-goal game. 2 teams have going through their longest stretch of the year without a victory, each with games in hand over the teams above them, each holding on to the final playoff spot in their respective conferences, hoping for a spark as we get into the stretch run of the MLS season. Here's Mauro Diaz for Dallas. Barrios got around Garza to cross in, just wide. Hollingshead there. Hasn't scored in over a year.
Well, I was just about to elaborate on sending players forward. What I meant by that is Grana on the right-hand side, Figueroa on the left-hand side to create the overload. Grana did just that, caused some problems, and then there was Barrios with the cross and a good chance.
And listen, miracle is a word which is oftentimes overused, maybe lose its meaning. It is a miracle that Ryan Hollingshead is even on the field. There was an ice storm in Frisco, Texas in June. He was assisting a stranded motorist when he was hit by another car, thrown 30 feet in the air, fractured 3 vertebrae in his neck, and yet was back dressing with the team in April, on the field in May. As we said, it's his 7th start of the year. Did score in the U.S. Open Cup in June. But the idea that Ryan Hollingshead would be serving others over himself, not a new thing. He was actually a 2nd-round draft pick in 2013 out of UCLA, Pac-12 Player of the Year. Didn't play at all his rookie year. He built a church with his brother in Sacramento, went to Haiti to work in an orphanage with his then fiance, now wife. Here's Almiron for Atlanta, weaving through. Grana going to ground. That ball, did that stay in play? It looked like it did. Contact with Almiron, waved away by Mark Geiger.
Another great bit of skill by Almiron. I think everyone's anticipating video reviewed to pop up.
Villalba on the other side. Figueroa flying around, trying to stay with him. Angled ball for Garza. Plenty of space and time for him. Barrios coming to close. Garza's cross met by Assad. Skipped off the top of his head. Good strike by Walks, though, on Hollingshead to keep it in. Carmona and Villalba not on the same page. And Rudy coming all the way back to help. Better sequence for Dallas. Grayso for Barrios. Gonzalez-Perez the defender. A little bit of contact. Barrios keeps his feet. Rudy in the middle. Barrios, great move on Gonzalez-Perez. Mauro Diaz on Lorenowitz. A 2nd time he sends him flying. Trying to weave his way through, and Guzan there to get it.
Just one too many. I think if he looks back at this again, he would have pulled the trigger. It is good again to see FC Dallas attacking.
The Dallas team has lost their last 3 away from home. And their mentality sort of switching, as much as their mentality coming into the year was CONCACAF Champions League. They were moments away from at least extra time in the semifinal with Pachuca. Defended their U.S. Open Cup to the quarterfinal, an extra time loss to Kansas City. And now their run of form and Toronto's run of form won't be able to defend the Supporter Shield, so all mindset is on gearing up for a run to MLS Cup as Garza swings this in. Hedges there to meet it. And as both Walker Zimmerman and Kellen Acosta talked to us about yesterday, they've learned the hard way. It's not necessarily the team that finishes top of the Western Conference that goes on to win, but the last 2 years, Portland and then Seattle, not even in the top 2, hosting a knockout round and sort of slingshotting their way in, and that's something even the Dallas PR team has put in their game notes. 3 of the last 5 MLS Cup winners have come out of the knockout round. And they need some sort of momentum at some point here in this stretch to get it going.
maybe more onus should be put on winning the league than the
Well, this is one of the
Supporters'
teams, though, and we've had this conversation. This is one of the teams, though, that absolutely thinks that way. They were champions last year, Supporter Shield and the U.S. Open Cup.
I believe that wholeheartedly. An MLS Cup is a cup competition that you get into by finishing in the top 6, and it's a trophy you should go for. Winning the league for being the most consistent team over the course of the whole season is a much more difficult thing to do. And I know there's people that'll disagree.
Well, I was just because in my mind, Seattle Sounders, they were champions as well. It's a different type of competition. It's a different type of success.
Yeah, they were cup champions. Absolutely right.
Now I can't check Twitter after the game, Brad. Thank you. That's Rudy being fouled. And you know, he's down holding his leg.
Just block everyone. It's easier.
Renowitz, the guilty party. And a frustrated Oscar Pareja. Minutes to go to halftime. We've said it a couple times, but it continues to be true. The fact that it is only 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0. It's still anyone's game. Jesse Gonzalez has made some great saves. Hedges clear off the line. And if they can get in at halftime, the worst being 1-0, Oscar Pareja will have time to reorganize things.
Good work by Figueroa there to keep possession. And Acosta to keep it. Grana at the All-Star game in July. The back heel of Diaz. Hollingshead now popping up on the right, miscontrolling it out. Grana starting that sequence. A touch from Diaz. Hollingshead as he's being fouled. Mark Geiger would play advantage. Barrios. And Hollingshead just able to keep it. Now Gruezo. Barrios actually down the left. And from Figueroa, back for Manuel Figueroa. Firing in that cross over Brad Guzan's crossbar.
That poorly executed cross, but much better getting Figueroa forward. I think that's the first time this half we've seen him that far forward. If you can create those overloads, make Assad and Villalba defend once in a while, because right now they're just attacking. Every time Atlanta is across, they have 4 or 5 players in the box.
It's a fun reunion with those two men. Maxi Urruti actually began his career playing for Tata Martino at Newell's Old Boys. Martino took over a team a couple of years ago and actually finished towards the bottom of the league in 2 straight short tournaments facing relegation. Urruti was one of the young players just out of the academy that they threw into the starting lineup. And Martino told us yesterday we put him in a tough situation, but he was brave. He did very well for us. And about a year after Martino took the job, Urruti then as a substitute, 5 goals in 15 games as Newell's went from a relegation battle to winning the closing season championship in 2013. Since then, Martino left to take the job in Barcelona. Urruti a few months later was in Toronto for a couple of weeks, and then the Portland Timbers were one MLS Cup. And Urruti telling us yesterday how thankful he is to Martino. He gave me my chance. He gave me confidence. I owe him a lot for the career that I built. And Urruti crowded out there, but it is going to be a foul. Free kick for Dallas. Final warning to Carlos Carmona, who's just returning from a yellow card suspension.
Yeah, stepped right on his left foot. Geiger right on call. Geiger's had a good game so far. Little help of video review as well. It's not often we say all around good day for the officials.
I'm going to not make it Mark Geiger Atlanta reference. Here's the free kick from Mauro Diaz. Backside for Hedges. You saw what he was trying to do. Get it back in front. It was just beyond his left foot. Mark Geiger coming over now to have an extra chat. Renowitz, longtime MLS veteran, getting into his ear. Just 3 back of Davy Arnaud, actually, Larentowicz, for Top 10 games played amongst field players in league history. 20 a time he's played in regular season play against Dallas. Most famously played against them for the Colorado Rapids in winning MLS Cup 2010, starting next to Pablo Mastroeni that day in the middle of midfield. Rudy couldn't combine with Barrios. Parkhurst there to sweep it out. Acosta, Guerrezo, Figueroa getting inside of Villalba. You know how much power he has in his left foot. We saw that Tuesday. It's in for a Rudy, the flicked header, and Guzan just able to reach down to his right and do enough to keep it out.
Well, Brad Guzan was caught in two minds. Could I come for the cross? It's a really good ball, tough one to deal with for a keeper. He ends up having to stop. Any bit more of a touch probably goes by him.
It was Hollingshead there on the scene as well. Misplay by Zimmerman. The ball falls to Joseph Martinez. Almiron's in the middle. Here's the cross. Almiron laying it off. Down the shot through traffic off the bar from Assad. Gonzalez might have gotten a fingertip to that. He was at full stretch for it. Once again, how Atlanta has not extended their lead. And then a foul and a free kick for Dallas.
Again, that was work by Almiron. His movement inside the box, there were 4 or 5 FC Dallas defenders, and he was the one that found the space.
Not just 10 shots, but if Gonzalez did get a touch, that'd be an 8 on target. Hollingshead forcing Walks to play that ball. Great flick from Villalba. Carmona there just in front of Kellen Acosta. Here come Atlanta again. In for Martinez. Zimmerman knocking in the air. That might actually work for Martinez to slow it up. Hernan Grana now. Great work from him. Mauro Diaz looking for Hollingshead inside of Walks. Gonzalez Perez trying to cover, got a touch to the cross. It falls for a Rudy, blocked. Second attempt, saved by Guzan, out for a corner. Parker's paying the price, that close to 1-1.
It is remarkable. This really should be 3 or 4-0 right now, as it remains 1-0. A desperate block by Parkhurst.
And Rudy is a little bit shaken up. They're holding the corner for him. Now, this was Atlanta's opportunity a moment ago.
Have a look at Almiron here. Look at all the white shirts around. Martinez gets his head up. He's the one that moves back into space, just lays it off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 FC Dallas players around, and he finds the space.
Diaz now taking the corner. Guzan, good punch. Rana holding it in. Barrios now on the far side. Walks gives him the space to lift in the cross. Parkhurst was there in front of Zimmerman. Villalba finding Martinez. An early ball dealt with by Gonzalez. This is about as action-packed a 1-0 first half as you can imagine.
Oh, but a really good game, especially Atlanta United. They're attacking. Good goalkeeping, Jesse Gonzalez, good blocks.
Assad spotting Gonzalez off his line. He's not quite David Villa.
And if you don't kill a team off by scoring the second or the third goal, it's a good run from outside. A bit fortunate on the cross as it was deflected, but here's a very good block by Parkhurst. That looked like a good save by Guzan at the end.
A reminder coming up, our Audi halftime report. We got a lot to look back on from this first half as Barrios comes weaving through, finding a Rudy. Crowded out. We'll also take a look at the playoff picture as we enter into the final stretch of the MLS regular season. All that and more on our halftime report presented by Audi. And a foul there. Assad a bit slow to get up. Scored that first goal in the first game in team history, just to other side of town at Bobby Dodd Stadium back in March. And they were leading 1-0 to break Atlanta. They ended up losing 2-1 to the New York Red Bulls. As we said, Atlanta, more than any other team, has lost out on wins after scoring the first goal, and Dallas has been tied for the most results they've been able to manage coming back from a goal down. So this thing's far from over, and all the chances Atlanta have had to add a second, maybe a third goal, will be a part of that story when all is said and done. We're about halfway through our 1-minute stoppage time. Carrezo threw the block into the back of Assad before Zimmerman headed it away, so a chance right before the break for Atlanta if they want to send the bodies forward and send this into the box. It looks like that's what they're going to do. Gonzalez Perez is coming forward. Morenowitz is going forward. And he's been a busy man in this first half, as he has one more big play he needs to make. On their own. Swing it in. Martinez is up for it. And an anticlimax to a sensational opening 45 minutes. Atlanta haven't won here at home since the 4th of July. Most of that is due to the fact they haven't played many games here at home. They're trying to kickstart perhaps a run to be just the second expansion team since 2005 to make the MLS postseason. Second half underway, and we did take a look at the break. That one shot that came off the bar was saved by Jesse Gonzalez. 7 first half saves. Here comes Almiron quickly on the giveaway, looking for Martinez! Less than 30 seconds into the second half. Finally, Atlanta doubles their lead.
Well, they started the second half just like they started the first half. High pressure. A loose touch by Zimmerman and a really good pass by Almiron. Martinez keeps himself onside. Gonzalez has no chance in goal. Goes right between the legs of Hedges. And a tremendous start to this second half for Atlanta and all these home fans.
10th goal in just 12 games played this year for Joseph Martinez, and a little bit of history there as well. He and Hector Villalba each to double digits this season. Just the second expansion team in league history to have 2 players score 10 or more goals. Vancouver in 2011, Camilo and Eric Osley the only other. I mean, if you're Dallas and you've sat there at halftime and you've said, okay guys, we can get back into this, we're only a goal away, here's what we're going to do. To concede 30 seconds in.
Got to change the plans again.
Yeah, Rudy.
In the last 10 or 15 minutes of that first half, they were getting forward. I wouldn't say they were controlling the rest of the half by any stretch of the imagination. However, they were getting some chances going forward. That was when Figueroa was going forward and Grana. However, now they're going to have to really try to do that. And if they open up too quickly and too much, the pace of this front four, especially Martinez and Almiron, there's more goals in it for them. 3s, 4s, and 5s.
I mentioned Atlanta hadn't won in front of their home fans since the 4th of July. That was the last time Martinez scored a goal, including a stretch out in July with a foot contusion that flared up. A giveaway there at the back by Atlanta. Rudy from Diaz for Hollingshead. Figueroa letting fly. And as we said, he's got a cannon of a left foot. Just about took Brad Guzan's hands off with a free kick Tuesday out on San Pedro Sula. That one mercifully wide.
Yeah, a score of one of the greatest Premier League goals from about 70 yards out when he was at Wigan Athletic. Now, tremendous left foot, and if he can get forward a little bit more, it delivers a really good cross also. I'm afraid we've not seen that too much in this game.
Well, they've gone back, opted taking a look. 29 seconds from the second half kickoff to the ball in the back of the net for Atlanta's second goal. Garza back from Assad. Trying to get around Callan Acosta, working hard to try to keep it up there. Garza, a Dallas native. Off as a young kid, though, actually spent some time growing up in Brazil. Now back in MLS. Ball falls for Mauro Diaz. Acosta, good work to get away from Assad. Grana. Tough challenge there. Acosta's down. He's holding his left leg. He's in pain. Yellow card, Leandro Gonzalez Perez.
These type of challenges as well, sometimes on the turf, that's where your cleat can get stuck in the turf, whereas on grass it can just slide out. And it was definitely a challenge to go in hard. I think the referee called it correctly and called a foul. It's one of those where you can go in and get a lot of the player and the ball at the same time.
Acosta still in some pain, up on his feet at least. Mauro Diaz taking the free kick. He's all the way through a Rudy, unable to keep it in play.
Martinez did really well to keep himself onside. Almiron looks up and he waited for Hedges to open up his legs.
Well, Katie, was that part of Tata Martino's plan for the second half by any chance?
It was, John, but you know, he was a happy guy coming out of the locker room. He told me through a translator the first half was one of the best halves they've played all season because of the way they controlled the ball and also the type of scoring chances they created. He mentioned the training staff looked at Miguel Almiron. He's fine. They're not concerned with him moving forward after taking that knock in the first half. When I asked him what needs to change in the second, he said nada except for another goal.
And they got that after half a minute. Now they're looking for more. Here's Hector Villalba. Anton walks, couldn't bring it under control, at least initially. And then eventually goes out of play.
I'd have to agree with him. The quality of their play in the attacking third has been really good. I guess with the exception of not scoring more goals.
Well, that was part of the story for them, and coming out they put 6 goals past Minnesota in their second game. They put 4 past Chicago when Chicago was still sort of figuring themselves out. And as Slim Braguzan talked to us about yesterday, we need to get back to how we were playing. And he said we, even though he was watching those games from England, get back to how we were playing in the spring, where we were so decisive, flooding numbers forward, attacking, scoring goals. The defending sort of took care of itself in large manner, and Joseph Martinez, such a big part of that. Second player in league history to score 5 goals in his first 3 games, and then he got hurt playing for Venezuela in the March international window. And even as he hasn't played a lot since, as we've been talking about a couple times, he has been effective and efficient with his time on the field. Long throw looking for Assad. He got a flick to it. Martinez trying to get there. Costa and Grana combining to win the ball for Dallas. Has left it behind him. Almiron takes it away. Miguel Almiron streaming in. He's going to call his own number. It's off the bar. Whether or not Gonzalez got a touch to that one. Atlanta coming into the day, fewest number of times they hit the woodwork of any team in MLS. They've done so twice in this game.
And again, it's the pressure. He's on it in a flash. And he's so quick. He gets in front of the defender. It's Grana. And Jesse Gonzalez does get a little touch onto that. He goes down a little bit too early here. It's a little fortunate, but it gets a good touch up under the bar.
Pencil it in as an 8th save of the day for Jesse Gonzalez.
Oh, he's been FC Dallas's best performer.
That's going to be a corner. Villalba working hard on Mano Figueroa.
all those little things, the extra yards to go for. Villalba ran one down in the first half where Hedges had to hit it into the stands. He runs that one down, wins his team a corner.
Third of the day, they scored from a sequence starting from their first. Almiron, who already has 2 assists today. Swinging in this corner, Gonzalez tracking back, and Martinez couldn't get up and over it.
Uses his body really well. Said it in the first half when he was up against Hedges. There again, up against his defender. You see when this ball comes in, Martinez jumps up a lot earlier. The defender's not able to get up and challenge with him.
He's only 24, Martinez. Already had 7 years professionally under his belt. Venezuela, Switzerland, Italy. It was from Torino. He was actually signed on loan for this season with an option to buy. And you can imagine after those 5 goals in the first 3 games, it was a quick phone call and exercising. In fact, days before he suffered that long-term injury, that they bought him. Reported $4.5 million. Almost $15 million spread across the DPs. As we said, they've gotten return from all 3 of them, including Almiron. Villalba's the other, and he was the first in this team to get to 10 goals in the season. Carmona pressured off it by Barrios, giving it away. 3v3 for Dallas. If they can go fast enough for Rudy. Barrios running in front of him. Diaz to his left. Forced wide. 3 red and black shirts. Able to keep it though. Acosta. Diaz spinning away from Lorenowicz, touching away from Garza. And now Diaz is going to hook it in. It falls for Kellen. Acosta saved by Guzan.
Actually, Dallas did well just to carve out a chance because the transition of the Atlanta players to get back to defend was really good. They were able to keep numbers forward, and it's Kellen Acosta who makes his forward run in between the defenders. Ball just pops up, and he's not able to get a lot of power. He hits it down into the turf.
It's Guz shouted at him here. Hasn't had a lot to do today, but has come up big in the few key moments where he's been asked to do something.
Being a goalkeeper, I'm going to give him that save in the first half. Say he turned it around the post.
Give him 2 officially. And listen, 5 saves for him as the U.S. got the draw in Honduras. And we asked about that yesterday. He said there's no way you can explain or really understand away games in World Cup qualifying CONCACAF until and unless you've experienced them. He said, you know, for all of us, our mind immediately shifts to October. The last 2 games the U.S. trying to get in the World Cup, he said, it's always in the back of your mind over the next month. As much as the minute you get on the plane home from Honduras, your focus is shifting back to your club team.
It is different. CONCACAF, playing games away from home in CONCACAF is not an easy thing to do.
Almiron's touch going backwards to Rudy and Chase, and Guzan there to get it. MLS on FS1 is sponsored by Continental Tire for what you do. Barrios the pressure on Gonzalez Perez, who gets away with it. Now Garza having trouble. Ulloa, that's going to be a foul. Coming to the back of Carmona. Quickly taken from about 10 yards behind where the foul occurred. Dallas wasn't entirely ready. Almiron running forward, not on the same page with Villalba's run. Costa trying to release Hollingshead into space. Walks getting caught up field. Diaz making a run. He just checked it enough there.
It was a good tracking run by Carmona. Carmona must have covered about 20 yards just to get back to cover for his defenders.
A lot of international experience with Chile. Not as much of a regular call-up these days. Emil Assad. Garza overlapping. Martinez in the middle. Martinez back for Assad. Comfortable enough for Jesse Gonzalez. Unofficially save number 9 for him in this game.
Again, 5 players forward, 4 in the box, one of the fullbacks forward. Jesse Gonzalez just kicked that about 1.5 yards outside the 18-yard box.
Goalkeeper touching the ball outside of the box. Also a reference here to Atlanta with Brad Guzan.
That's what
We were talking about the Gold Cup semifinal from 2 years ago on the way in as Guzan's there to get it.
That was a really strange one, though.
Well, strange call and part of a very strange night, I think it's fair to say.
Yes.
That was just behind us at the Georgia Dome. It is amazing how much changed since. I remember the press conference the day before, and I knew they were getting the team, and a local reporter asked Michael Bradley, you know, what do you think of Atlanta and soccer's chances here? And Bradley sort of, I've been in the airport. That's about it. That's all I can really answer for you. Even Walker Zimmerman on the ball right now, an Atlanta native. We asked him yesterday. He said, I'm very surprised by this. I didn't think that this would happen so quickly, but all my friends back here in town, they tell me it's everywhere. In fact, that was the issue. His family, 40 of them, wearing FC Dallas gear in the stadium tonight. He said, I got a bunch of friends that are wearing their Atlanta United stuff to this game. And next week, they're going to try to set a record. And they've got games every 3 days. They play midweek. The next Saturday when they host Orlando, they're going to open the full capacity here. Try to break a record which has been held since the opening month of the opening MLS season. 69,000 and change at the Rose Bowl. Seeing the LA Galaxy play the New York, New Jersey Metro Stars for a standalone MLS game, not part of a doubleheader with a national team game. That has stood up since the record. They're going to try to break it. Capacity here about 72,000 when they open it up fully. They'll do that a couple times this year. In fact, the end of this crazy stretch of games at home in 2 weeks against Montreal, a game you can see on your local Fox affiliate either side of your NFL game that day, along with an earlier presentation we'll have of the LA Galaxy at Sporting Kansas City. Diaz. Rudy able to get on the end of it. Maxi Rudy cutting back. Maxi Rudy saved by Guzan. Barrios there to keep the rebound in play. Grana in support. Numbers forward for Dallas. Grana looking to hook across in. Lorenowitz was there.
And you said he had nothing to do.
Ulloa holding it in. Potentially a key moment, because if that goes in, it's 2-1 and still 30 minutes left.
Yeah, 2-0 leads are difficult leads. You think you're in cruise control. You're up a couple goals, but that one goal gives the other team so much confidence if they score it.
Counted as a third save amongst Dallas's 8 shots today.
Not enough. There's a lot of numbers back. Parkhurst is there. It's a good run just behind Parkhurst, but right there is where the tackle should be made. Lorenowitz should not go to ground, but Brad Guzan keeps his position really well, and the good save to overdo his left-hand side.
He kept a clean sheet in his debut in July in Orlando. 16 saves out of 20 shots faced overall. Hasn't had a shutout since. As we said in the pregame, Tata Martino saying he has been making us stronger in every sense.
Brad's such a good guy. He's great for the changing room. He's a very, very good goalkeeper.
Header from Hedges. Diaz fouled. Free kick Dallas.
A very, very good addition to this football team.
Well, they certainly have a couple of talented players, Dallas, on free kicks. Mauro Diaz and Kellen Acosta, who we've seen now for club and country, produce goals out of free kicks. It was his free kick that started the sequence to get Bobby Wood's equalizer on Tuesday.
I mean, that is really soft. I can understand why Lorenowitz is upset.
And you've got Figueroa with an incredibly powerful left foot and a long run up. Diaz is there as well. Acosta's gone forward. It'll be Diaz going to play this in along by Lorenowitz. Walks off his thigh, and Zimmerman will shepherd it out for a corner. Diaz, who suffered a torn Achilles tendon, second to last game of last season, returning in the spring, sending this in. He just got there in front of Walks. It's going to be another corner. It was a recent hamstring injury that he's recently returned from, that another part of why Dallas has gone through this long stretch, 7 games without a victory. Playing this one back, Figueroa will tee it up, and it's comfortably into the stands. Jimmy Carter, 39th president of these United States, a Georgia native, in attendance here tonight. Very exciting to have him here, an example of how relevant, how important this team has become. And we actually asked around, the only memory anyone has of a U.S. president at an MLS game, George H.W. Bush at a Houston Dynamo game a couple of years back. He has seen a good one so far, and Dallas right now trying to work their way back into things. Tesho Akindele looks like he's getting loose, getting his jersey on, in fact, now down below, preparing to be Dallas' second sub of the game. Yoa, who was the first, rolling it in, too far for Barrios. Here comes the change in a player that broke out of absolutely nowhere. Colorado School of Mines, first-round pick in 2014, Rookie of the Year, 7 goals then. It's Hollingshead who's off. His goal-scoring production has gone down over the ensuing years. Now in his 4th year with his team, Oscar Pereira talked to us about him yesterday, and you could really tell the love that he has for Tesho Akindele, a player he first spotted when he was the Rapids head coach at a combine for local college players. The loyalty that's there, but the fact that, as he's saying, he needs playing time to build his confidence, but he needs to be more effective and produce more goals and assists if he's going to get that playing time. We see him now more regularly coming off the bench, so a key opportunity for him if he can spark a comeback, maybe to get more of it, as Joseph Martinez is stretching out his left leg behind the play for Atlanta, and a player that's been injury hit throughout the year. That's not a sight that Atlanta want to see, and their bench is now buzzing with activity as a result.
No, and I'm sure they hope that that's just a cramping. You're not going to want him to. It could be, because he's running around on it normal now. On the substitution, it's like for like. Tesho's gone in on that left-hand side. Urruti still stayed in the central areas.
Villalba for Assad. Able to keep it after that heavy touch, at least for a moment. And it looks like Atlanta's not going to mess around and going to make a sub. Julian Gressel immediately coming over and getting his jersey on. There's Michael Barrios now. Trying to engage with Greg Garza. Barrios putting on the speed, getting around Garza. The cross takes a deflection from Gonzalez Perez. Lorenowitz tracking back to head it away. And then contact there between Barrios and Gonzalez Perez, and a free kick for Atlanta.
Looks like Garza stretching his calf also. Could be switching from the grass
part
to
of
the
it.
turf.
There's always going to be an adjustment period to that, for sure. As we have seen plenty of times, it takes close to 6 weeks for turf fields, once you start playing on them, to sort of settle their way in. We saw that at BC Place a couple of years ago when the new surface was installed for the Women's World Cup. A move by Acosta to keep the ball. Barrios touching inside for Urruti. Akindele making the run. Parkhurst there to intercept. Almiron quickly the other way, accelerating. Martinez running in an offside position. Hedges standing his ground. Almiron holding his face. Play on for Dallas. MLS and FS1 sponsored by Heineken. Open your world. Rudy cut off by Lorenowitz. Almiron was a bit slow to get up behind the play, and in fact Jesse Gonzalez was barking at him a little bit, helping him to his feet. Now a free kick for Atlanta. All right, Katie, what's the word from the benches down there, particularly that last Dallas sub?
Well, John, Tesho Akindele into the game, and what I heard Dallas's bench say to him was get into the box. They also told me they want to specifically attack this right side earlier in this second half. I heard Oscar Pereira call out to Kellen Acosta and tell him to look for that early ball forward to try to spring Mikey Barrios.
Here's Garza now. Rolled in for Almiron. Martinez is in the middle. Miguel Almiron. The trailer's going to be walks. He does have a goal this year with his head. Villalba on the deck for Martinez. Let it go for Garza.
I'll have to give that one some applause early. What a tremendous step over.
Greg Garza in a resurgent year in his career, a resurgent day for Atlanta United, 3-0 over Dallas.
Well, FC Dallas are complaining about a foul. I'm not sure that it was against Kellen Acosta. It doesn't matter. Atlanta went forward. Anton walks, combines on that right-hand side. Look at Martinez's run. Again, the forward movement. It's only 2 or 3 yards, but it's done so quickly. It pulls Zimmerman out. Right here, Zimmerman has to go in. He just steps over it, and it's an easy tap in at the far post. When you do things quick and positive, things happen. And that goal's as much Martinez's as it is Garza's.
Now the Dallas kid who was with the U.S. at that Gold Cup here in Atlanta 2 years ago, just after that a hip injury surfaced. It kept him out for an entire year. Played just 7 times, playing down in Mexico in the year and a half after that. A lot of rehab, a lot of work, a lot of days. He wasn't sure if his soccer career would continue. He started all but 2 games this season. He's been one of the league leaders in creating chances for others as a defender. Scoring his 2nd goal of the year there. Also scored against Vancouver in June. And there's a chance for Atlanta increasingly to make a real statement here today against a Dallas team whose misery is only getting worse.
Yeah, FC Dallas has to stay in tune. They have to keep trying to stick to being competitive in this game because Atlanta is not going to stop. Martinez is going to want more goals. Almiron's going to want more goals. Villalba, Assad.
Tres Acero, the shout from the Atlanta supporters.
With Martinez struggling, it probably is the right time to bring him off now.
Gressel is still waiting nearby the Atlanta bench. They haven't submitted the card yet. He said to us yesterday, spirits are good. Not really worried about the result, just a lack of rhythm, a lack of intensity with the breaks that we've had. There are no breaks for them the rest of this season.
I would say the spirit looks great. This is one of the very, very best MLS performances I've seen this season or in recent years. They've been so sharp. I'd like to see them.
Rudy holding his shoulder after a collision with the advertising boards.
I'd like to see them play against Toronto. Toronto's playing some really good football right now also.
Well, they only, of their final 10 games, are 3 times playing teams above them in the overall standings. Dallas has won, the Red Bulls away, and then Toronto here at home. That'll be a game I think we can all circle right now as Acosta's fouled, and Atlanta will make the sub. And it'll be Hector Villalba who comes off. One of the real surprise stories this MLS season. Julian Gressel to replace him. Two assists for Villalba today.
A really good game. Worked extremely hard. Chased down some lost causes that then gave his team some advantages. Martinez must be okay.
And Gressel onto the field, native of Germany, was actually in some youth academies, some small clubs there, came to school at Providence in the U.S. First-round draft pick for Atlanta. Tata Martino said they thought he was the most pro-ready guy in the draft. And he has the 2nd most minutes played this season of anyone who was in that draft this year. Philadelphia center back Jack Elliott's the other. Diaz in for Akindele. Couldn't play for Figueroa. Ulloa there first. Urruti controls it. Diaz clipping it in, just too tall for Akindele. Dallas are preparing to bring on their 3rd and final sub, Christian Coleman. There's his jersey on down by the Dallas bench area. Grana in for Maxi Urruti. Turn and keep it away from Carmona. Is able to recover his position. Now Barrios clipping that out past Akindelli. It's going to hook and stay in play. Cleanly billed out of the back. Diaz, Urruti, met by Carmona. Diaz able to keep it, trying to play along for Ulloa. Parker's there to meet him. Figueroa got across away. Lorenowitz sweeps it out. Acosta for Ulloa. Figueroa got himself back onside. Acosta now driven ball straight to Guzan.
Just watching Lorenowitz, I know people are going to talk about Almirón and Martinez today, especially. He's done a really good job of marshalling just in front of that back four, and he's gone into that back four at times to win balls inside the box and win headers. One of the unsung heroes today.
Great work there to win it back. Almirón doing it on both sides of the field. If anything, Tata Martino told us yesterday they want him to do that less, stay higher up the field, focus more on attacking. Almirón there in front of Zimmerman. Hedges in front of Martinez, and now Zimmerman just trying to lob it forward for someone. Gonzalez Perez getting there to clear. Akindelli wins the header. Diaz threw a body in there to help get it to Urruti, and it breaks down once again for Dallas. Quarter hour to go, and a game that could have easily been broken open much earlier than it was. Dallas somehow getting to the break, only a goal down, a potential penalty chalked off for video review, a shot off the bar, a couple of very good saves from Jesse Gonzalez. 8 saves for him, in fact, tonight. Career high for him in a regular season match. And then 30 seconds into the second half, Atlanta grabbed their second. Just a little bit ago, grabbing their third. And a 4-game winless streak, the longest of the year, looks set to end. Continue this quest to make a little bit of history. They're the first expansion team since Seattle in 2009 to make the MLS playoffs. And if they're going to play this well and this exciting in this building, they might really have something to say when all is said and done. Russell could cleanly bring that down and keep it in play on Hedges. Well, Dallas is going to take Mauro Diaz off the field, live to fight another day perhaps, and Christian Coleman, they paid $2 million for him in the offseason. It was a club record transfer fee. 2 goals, 1 assist in 21 games. That has not worked out so far. Their hopes are that they can maybe come good in his second season. Native of Paraguay, in fact, was a teammate of Miguel Almirón's at the Pan American Games for Paraguay 2 years ago. And Chris McCann will be coming on as a moment as another sub for Atlanta. Dallas done for the day. Costa trying to reverse it for Figueroa. Tried by Gressel, who dropped all the way in deep. Almirón keeps it in play. Akindelli showing great speed to chase him down. Too far in front of Martinez. We said coming in, Brad, you weren't overly worried about Dallas, the team that they've built, even in this run of form. Is there anything you've seen today that does make you worried all about them the rest of the season?
No, I still think that they're going to finish in the playoffs. I think they'll probably still finish above that 6th place spot. I think when they get some more games under the belt of Mauro Diaz, they'll still be a hard team to beat in the playoffs. No, I'm not too worried about him. Oscar Pereira's been there. He's done it. He knows his players. Just because they're having a poor run of form right now doesn't mean they're going to completely fall apart. And let's face it, they came up against a team that has played one of the best 90 minutes of football that we've seen this year in MLS.
Right now, they're just having fun knocking it around, hearing the old days from their fans.
And I think FC Dallas will probably be happy that they're not trying to go forward now.
And goal differential is the 2nd tiebreaker. Total wins is the 1st tiebreaker in MLS when it comes down to that. Gonzalez Perez over the top. Almiron is onside. Gonzalez backtracking. Is that a shot or a cross?
I think it's a shot. I'm sure he didn't know Martinez made his way up alongside of him as quickly as he did.
Curtain call coming for Joseph Martinez. And his was the one 30 seconds into the 2nd half, which effectively sealed this.
Yeah, and he did really well to keep himself onside, and Almiron did well just to delay a little bit to be able to put it through the legs of Hedges.
His dummy set up Garza's 3rd. The man they're so happy to have back on the field. 10 goals this season in just 12 games played.
And very, very good game today. He was a nuisance and a menace all afternoon. His forward runs, his work rate with and without the ball. Martino will be very pleased with his output.
Chris McCann, 30-year-old from the Republic of Ireland. More of a defensive-minded midfielder, so Almiron is pressing forward into Martinez's spot. There's Grana. Macandelli trying to get that under control. Couldn't quite do so on the turf. Barrio stepping in. That was Coman, rather. Almiron got through the legs of Zimmerman. Couldn't get around him cleanly. Mark Geiger doesn't see a foul. Grana just wrapped up by Almiron and looks hopefully over at Geiger as we're inside of 10 minutes to go.
I don't know what Grana's upset at. Referee called a foul play on. I do know what he's upset. He's losing 3-0 and he hasn't really touched the ball.
That'll do it. As we mentioned, this is quite the stretch run. 6 games in 24 days coming up. 8 of their last 10 at home, but 7 of those 10 will come on a short week. As Acosta's ball comes all the way through. The Revs come here Wednesday night. As we said, they're going to try to break an MLS record next Saturday against Orlando. Then it's LA. Then Montreal in 2 weeks. Live on your local Fox affiliate opposite of your NFL game that day.
I hope they have the fitness levels. It looks like they do to keep up with tempo like this. This is wonderful to watch.
MLS on FS1 is sponsored by Advocare, the official sports nutrition partner of Major League Soccer. Barrios' header, Parkhurst twice had to deal with it. It's a deflected cross. Guzan racing out to get a punch to it. Alan Acosta lost his footing, lost the ball. As I mentioned, only 2 away games they have, at New England at the end of this month and then at the New York Red Bulls. Second to last weekend of the season, final day of the season. Toronto here to Atlanta. I shrug my shoulders and look over at you. And
no, it'd be a really good game. I wish they were playing tomorrow. They're both in really good form. Hopefully they're both playing like they are now then.
And looking for Acosta, cut off, and we remind you they're 9 Eastern tonight, right here on FS1. Ziggy Schmidt's return to Seattle with the LA Galaxy in desperate need of a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Seattle trying to stay in first place in the Western Conference, temporarily second to Portland after their win at Yankee Stadium yesterday. Mark Followill, Alexi Lawless, Danielle Slayton will have that one for you. Tesho Akindele. Alan Acosta trying to do something to maybe spoil a little bit of this party for Atlanta and their fans. Count's going to come away with the ball. Gressel. Long switch for Almiron. Bringing it down on Zimmerman. A little bit of a juggle as well. Assad running inside of him. Not on the same page. Almiron almost stepped back in to take it away from Hedges. And in fact, it will be an Atlanta throw. Well, Dallas is for what they have left, including today. 5 of their last 8 will be away from home, including 3 straight away games before the finale against the Galaxy. Only 2 of those games against teams above them in the standings, though. They play Seattle twice still. They got games against the bottom teams in the Western Conference to come. Trying to secure another playoff spot, maybe make a run at MLS Cup. Barrios looking for Coman, cut off instead. Leandro Gonzalez Perez. One more goal, they say. We said we're going to be seeing this building a lot. It's a fair bet Atlanta's going to be a popular pick for the national TV games next year in MLS. Big football events coming here as well. Very safe bet that this will be a part of big soccer events going forward. In fact, it's worth noting, if you notice when the ball goes back in the corner, you see those stands that sort of rise up. Those are actually retractable stands. The footprint of the stadium hugs around the corners, the football field, but they built retractable stands in the corners to make sure that the soccer field could be a full 75 yards wide, FIFA standard for World Cup or any other major events.
And you look up to the left and you see that, all those fans with our left side, John, it looks like a wall of fans. Not too dissimilar, I mean, not as many fans, but like Dortmund when you look at that on TV.
It was a very well-built stadium. They spent $1.5 billion, and even for that amount of money, they got their money's worth. On their own of the turn, Gressel ran offside. Gressel running forward. Underhit that for Almiron. Akindele trying to play in. Flag's going to stay down on Coman. Ball pulls him a bit wide. Alan Acosta. All the way across for Grana. Grana for Barrios. Finds some space. McCann pokes it away. Assad stuck down in the corner. Barrios comes away now. He's cross in. All the way through. Walk's able to clear as Akindele attacking it. Anton Walk's 20-year-old on loan from Tottenham. As we said, out of position at right back, making the play. 45,314, adding in some standing room. The listed capacity for soccer is actually 42,000, less than their average had been at Bobby Dodd Stadium, but they're able to add a couple 3,000 more, chasing down Seattle's record from a couple years ago, the highest average attendance in Major League history, and a great curtain call from those 45,000 for Miguel Almiron.
Yes, he glides across that ground and he does it so effortlessly. His runs are good. He's creative. He knows when to go into space, when not to. Really good acquisition. Tremendous evening from him.
Jacob Peterson, longtime MLS veteran, just his third appearance since the end of March. He missed 4 months with a calf injury. When he returned, he was at his former team the last couple of years, Sporting Kansas City. 90+1 to get a tying goal that day. And in fact, in this run of 4 games without a win, 3 ties for Atlanta, all of them coming with goals in stoppage time. Those key little moments just to chip up points on the standings. Gonzalez Perez heads away. Another good option off the bench for Atlanta for this stretch run. A healthy Jacob Peterson as Dallas win a corner.
That's another point to prove they have a lot of team spirit. They're getting and fitness to come and score so many late goals.
They've been one of the best teams late, in fact, this year. 12 goals scored, just 4 allowed, amongst the league leaders in the final 15 minutes of games. Only Toronto a better goal differential in the final quarter hour. Figueroa able to keep his feet and the ball. Acosta blocked by McCann. Frustrating day for Kellen Acosta. 100th regular season appearance for him. 12th homegrown player in league history to get to that mark. Increasingly such a vital part of FC Dallas, but increasingly a vital part of the U.S. national team. Starts at Mexico, at Honduras, and in the Gold Cup final in this year. Here's Akindelli waving away Barrios. Wanting this one himself, dancing around Carmona, wins a corner.
And you see Brad Guzan shouting at his defenders. He's going to want to preserve the clean sheet.
Take it back for Acosta. He'll hook it in, takes a deflection, and a good one for Guzan. Party time in Atlanta. 3 minutes left on Mark Geiger's watch. Dallas will get the full week, but it doesn't get any easier for them. They host the Seattle Sounders Saturday night for a trip to Minnesota. As we said, Atlanta, fairly quick turnaround Wednesday night against New England, then next Saturday against Orlando. Budding rivalry in MLS as well, in addition to a chance to break the attendance record. We had actually heard that Orlando, after playing last night, getting a win against DC United, could only get as far as here in Atlanta. Hurricane Irma preventing their full return home. As we said, our thoughts and prayers with everyone there. Everyone in Texas still dealing with Hurricane Harvey. That's when it gets harder, is when everyone shifts their attention somewhere else. And everyone even up here into Atlanta battening down the hatches pretty much once they get home from this game. As whatever's left of Irma will arrive here at some point tomorrow. Zimmerman, not the happiest of homecomings for him. He's excited to play in this building as well. He's a big Atlanta Falcons fan, he told us. But a tough day for Dallas defensively. 3 goals allowed, could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, this Atlanta team was really good. Jesse Gonzalez, some good saves. Hedges the one off the line. Really, if this ended up 6-0, you wouldn't really complain about it. Or be surprised.
Gressel able to turn on Hedges, rolling back, and how about a fourth from Assad? Gonzalez was there. Peterson throwing his body in the way. Gonzalez a punch in front of Walks. It's a 9th save, according to Opta, for Jesse Gonzalez today, matching John McCarthy against Dallas for Philadelphia earlier this year for the highest number of saves of any goalkeeper in MLS this year.
That's got to be his 4th one-on-one that he saved. There's a couple where the balls were bouncing and he made himself big. That one was straight down the middle.
He's done all he could today. Peterson got there. Jacob Peterson deflected shot. Zimmerman got his body in the way. And we'll see if Mark Geiger even allows for the corner or just blows for full time at 3 minutes.
And here's the chance for Assad. Jesse Gonzalez does well. He comes out very quickly. Doesn't give Assad much of the goal to look at.
Still want more. They're not going to get it there, and that's going to be it. But a resounding victory. Big day for soccer in the South, on and off the field here in this new stadium. End of a 4-game winless run for Tata Martino and company. And with all these games in hand, all these games at home, we're going to look back at this day and say this was the turning point. And here comes Atlanta United down the stretch of the season in the MLS Eastern Conference standings. Frustrating stuff for Dallas. Now 8 games without a victory, matching the longest such run they've had for 3 years. Still sets up well for them the rest of the season, but this is not the day they were hoping to have, feeling like they got things back on track in last week's draw with the New York Red Bulls. Take a look now at our Heineken moment of the match, and there were a couple of ones you could choose. This was just an awfully pretty goal.
Yes, it was. It was the third one. That run right there by Martinez, it was hard. I know it was only 3 or 4 yards, but it pulled Zimmerman out, and then the little step over and made for the simplest of finishes for Garza.
Plenty more to come here from Atlanta. We'll put a bow on this, and we'll also get you set as well for our later game tonight in Seattle as it finishes Atlanta United 3, FC Dallas 0.